What's up, Bama Nation? Hello! Yours truly back. Got back late last night from my trip to South Beach, Miami, Florida. Crimson Tide winners of the 2020 College Football Playoff National Championship. Nick Saban crying he has surpassed the legendary Paul W. Bear Bryant. Mac Jones got it done. Najee Harris got it done. Devontae Smith got it done. The Bama defense got it done. Crimson Tide, your Alabama Crimson Tide, the national champion of college football. I am really jacked up, juiced up, and excited to be on here on a Wednesday talking to the greatest fans of all time, that being you guys, the fans of the Crimson Tide football program. This is, in my own words, the hottest show on the streets, the number one forum for Crimson Tide football news, notes, information, and content. I'm yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we get to anything else, how about this? You guys, we have all hit 13,000 subscribers on the YouTube page. Give yourselves a hand. We appreciate everything that you, the passionate Alabama fan base, does on a daily basis, helping us out here at TDA. We have hit 13,000 on the YouTube channel. Could not have done this without you guys. Also, the show brought to you by WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That is WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and copy that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, showing that support to Coach Saban, the University of Alabama Crimson Tide, for that tradition of owning and or dominating the fourth quarter. We own thefourthquarter.com. We're bringing you the show from Birmingham, streaming this to you via YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, drop a thumbs up, give a like on the show, run those likes up, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best and updates on your Crimson Tide. Not only are we streaming this through YouTube, but we got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well. So all forms of social media taking care of you, the passionate fans of Tide football, where your Crimson Tide are concerned. As always, it's a joy to be locked and loaded with the man, the myth, the maestro, the legend in the production studio, doing it with me all the time, my man John Ivory in the production room, handling the ones and twos. Very happy to have him. But more so than that, we're happy to have you guys listening to the show. And for you to be a part of the show tonight, we want to hear from you. You call in 205-448-1358, the number to give your opinion, your thought, your ideas, your viewpoints here on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Don't let today go by without letting your voice be heard, as it's your Alabama Crimson Tide, the national champion here of college football. Really, really excited about that. Also, gotta give a shout out to my man, Senator Hines. Senator Hines donating that $18 there via the Super Chat, starting us off here on the show. A quick little update right now. Alabama will lose a member from its 2018 signing class to the NCAA transfer portal, as one Eddie Smith, three-star defensive back from Slidell, Louisiana, announced on Twitter today. Although he appreciates the University of Alabama, he appreciates Coach Saban and the teammates he has been with and been around. Eddie Smith, will take his talents to that transfer portal, looking to head elsewhere. He made the announcement today on Twitter, Eddie Smith going into the transfer portal. As I've always said, Nick Saban stockpiles talent at multiple positions, but the main ones, running back, wide receiver, defensive back, and linebacker. That defensive back room getting kind of crowded, so Eddie Smith is looking to head elsewhere. But kudos to him, best wishes to him as he tries to find a spot to where he can be an impact player on another program. But we start this thing off here, folks. Topic number one of conversation Of all the great things that took place in the national championship game on Monday night, Alabama getting the 52-24 win over Ohio State at Hard Rock Stadium. Of all the great things that happened, the number one thing, give it up for the coaching staff. How about a round of applause for this Alabama coaching staff, and in particular, Steve Sarkisian. This Alabama coaching staff did not allow the talent, the experience, the leadership, the productivity that was this 2017 class who led this group to the national championship and won the title. The coaching staff did not let this 2017 class go to waste. There have been a couple of national championships that Alabama could have won, but it failed to capture because situations and circumstances on the coaching staff allowed those teams to go to waste. I mean, you go back and you look at the 2016 Alabama defense, arguably the greatest defense in the history of Crimson Tide football. That defense should have a national championship. That defense should have a trophy to its name, but unfortunately, we saw it happen that year. Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin could not coexist together, and when Kiffin was fired, it created a lot of distraction, it created a lot of commotion, it created a lot of chaos, and what ends up happening was that 2016 defense, it ended up getting wasted because of that. And then you had the 2018 team that brought forth the term joyless murder ball in the national championship game. You had multiple coaches with their minds on other jobs, which meant the attention to detail wasn't there, the focus wasn't there, the respect for the game plan was not there. That national championship got so bad to where Nick Saban, he wasn't even cussing folks out anymore. He wasn't cussing folks out. He wasn't getting in folks' behinds. He wasn't breaking headsets. He wasn't flipping junk up in the air. He sat there with his hands folded like, what the heck do I do now? Even Nick Saban lost interest with the coaches with their minds on other jobs. And with 2018, no team was wasted. But you got to give Steve Sarkisian a lot of credit. Did not allow the 2017 team the 2017 class to be wasted. And he put a lot of focus into the game plan. He respected the game plan. He honored the game plan. He talked about it throughout the week. I made a commitment to Nick Saban. I made a commitment to these players. They brought me in with the mindset of we're trying to win a national championship. We're trying to be the greatest of all time, or one of the greatest of all time. We're trying to set a standard here where this program is concerned. And though I accepted, I being Sarkisian, and though I accepted the head coaching job at the University of Texas, and though I'm excited about it, though I'm happy about it, though I'm preparing to get to work soon, I am not leaving without fulfilling my commitment. I refuse to let that be a distraction from fulfilling my commitment to this program of getting it to a national championship and finishing the job. You got to give a lot of credit to Coach Sark. He finished the job. He emptied the tank. And in that title game, you could just tell there was no distractions, all straight focus. I know throughout the week there were questions about, is Sarkisian focused? Are the players focused? Will this be a letdown? Will the distraction end up costing Alabama a national championship? That wasn't the case at all. Sark put up 52 points on the Buckeyes. 52 points on the Buckeyes, and Sarkisian was all in his bag of tricks, whether it was motions, different movements, different maneuvers. He kept Ohio State on its heels. He kept Ohio State confused. He kept the Buckeyes frustrated. Sarkisian called big play after big play after big play, and the trio of Mac Jones, Najee Harris, and Devontae Smith, boy, did the big three benefit from Sarknado. The big three benefited. Mac Jones broke the CFP title game passing yard record that was set by Joe Burrow, just a season ago of LSU. Mac Jones, 464 passing yards, had 5 touchdowns. He was on a tear. Najee Harris in the game had over 100 yards from scrimmage, 79 yards rushing, 79 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. And how about Devontae, the Heisman Trophy winner, Slim Reaper Smith. Devontae Smith, Smitty, was setting records in the first half. 12 catches for 215 yards, had 3 touchdowns. If not for a dislocated finger in the second half, probably would have done even more. I mean, he was already abusing Sean Wade, whose draft stock is dropping like flies. But if not for a dislocated finger for Smitty, much more damage could have been done there in that matchup. I mean, if not for a fumble from Mac Jones, if not for a Mac Jones fumble in that game, Alabama could have put up 70-plus on Ohio State. It honestly could have. Alabama could have put up 70-plus on Ohio State. And just for me, it was a surprise of how not close the game actually was. I mean, I made a prediction on the Paul Feinbaum show. I think my prediction was 48-38 in favor of the Crimson Tide. It was 48-38. I had Bama winning this game by 10, but Alabama won by 28 points. Dear God, won by 28 points over Ohio State, and Steve Sarkisian did a magnificent job. And this is how it's supposed to be. You know, it's supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be a situation where you have the team that a coach is at right now currently going, is there any way we can keep this guy? Is there any way we can back the Brinks truck up, pay him more money, and keep this guy? We need him. We need him. We need him. He's so valuable. But the team that this coach is about to go to is thinking, man, look at what we're about to get. Look at what we're about to inherit. Look at what we're about to hire and bring in to run, our program. So I wish the best for Coach Sark. And something that's interesting here, of all the top assistants, of all the top coordinators, of all the top coaches Nick Saban has had, Sarkisian was the one guy that did not get introduced to the butt chewings. Sarkisian was the one that did not get introduced to being utterly embarrassed on TV. I mean, you had Lane Kiffin getting the butt chewings. You had Kirby Smart getting it. Jeremy Pruitt getting it. Poor Pete Golding got it. I mean, there were a lot of Alabama assistant coaches under Nick Saban that got the wrath of Saban. They got the bull and the horn. Sarkisian was the only one that did not get treated like that. Well, when you average 40-plus points a game like Sark did with this offense, it is easy for you to not get chewed out by Coach Saban, but just the professionalism, the way Sarkisian went about doing things, the excellence he had on the field with his play calling, making everybody feel comfortable. Saban mentioned in his presser that he didn't even have the words to describe the impact that Sarkisian had on this program. When you talk about the offensive players, they had no doubts. They had no concerns. They had no questions because of how detail-oriented Sarkisian was and is. The fact that, there was no struggles there. He would break down the game plan. He would go through the game plan. He would run through the procedures. He would run through the formations. And the players felt like, with Sark here, we're good. With Sark here, we know what we're supposed to do. We know what route we're running. We know what protection we're in. We know what the situation, the down and distance is. We know what we're supposed to do here on this field. With Sark running the game plan, this offense was firing on all cylinders. And big congratulations to Sark in keeping his word and keeping his commitment, making sure this 2017 class was not wasted, but most importantly, making sure this team finished with a national championship. Big ups to Sarkisian. My only hope is that Texas does right by him. We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting you started here on a Wednesday. When we come back, we dive into your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your ideas. We talk the national champion, Bama football, with you, the fans, after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at Emily'sHeirloomPoundCakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we are back in on the hottest show on the streets on a Wednesday. In My Own Words, phone lines jumping off. Phone lines are jumping off right now. So without further ado, we're going to go to the phone lines to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. But I'm going to call in. We take our first call of the night. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Mr. Stephen Smith and Tie Nation, it's Ballard Sports Media. How y'all doing?
Ballard doing well, man. Celebrating this 18th national championship for Alabama, the 7th for Coach Saban. I've never seen Coach Saban cry the way he cried on Monday night. Just so proud of this team.
Hey, real quick, before I get into what I really wanted to say tonight, I just want to say, Bama Nation, guess who's back on top? Man, I'll tell you what, this is, wow. Nick Saban, first off, it was really cool to see him, what he did, and I don't think anyone really, Bama fans get it. I don't know if anybody else, other fan bases watching this game understand, but Landon Dickerson went out in the final few snaps of the game, and that was just so incredible to see. Landon Dickerson missed pretty much, well, actually, he got hurt in the Florida game, if I'm not mistaken. Missed the semifinal game. He comes out. Everyone's hugging him. He goes out there to play on the O-line. And it was really cool. The only thing I didn't like, I felt like we should have let Mac Jones take the final knee, considering he's going to the draft. But it was so cool to see Bryce Young out there on the field on Monday.
It was, man. It was a great game, great showing. Bama, the national champion. Bama, we appreciate the call. Keep listening to us. We take our second call of the night. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Well, I thought I'd never sit here and say I saw three dominant eras of Alabama football. 60s, later 60s, 70s, 90s, now Coach Saban. Well, Stephen, I give him credit. You know, he sat there and they asked him, what did it feel like surpassing Coach Bryant? He said, wait a minute. Coach Bryant was in a league of his own. He said he set all this up for us to be where we're at now. And Nick gave him the credit he deserved. If it hadn't been for Coach Bryant and all the people in the past, Alabama wouldn't be where they're at right now.
Absolutely, Waylon. Absolutely. You got to give Saban credit for acknowledging the greatness that is Coach Bryant. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a good thing. But, all the fans, I see everybody here. We got a heck of a show, 162. Hello to everybody. I've got a lot of phone calls, a lot of text messages, a lot of Facebook friend requests from a lot of people I've met. We started out last year at the end of 19 through 2020. It sort of got rough, but we made it, and they're national champions again, and, that's all I can say. I appreciate it to everybody. We're going to have some knee surgeries done, so we'll be out for a while. So somebody's got to keep this thing rolling like you're in pretty good shape with 13,000 people. I think Mr. Bias is, I believe he's got a smile on his face, Stephen.
I do have a smile on my face, Wagon. I do.
Mr. Bias is listening. I believe he got a big smile on his face. So thanks to everybody on here, the Blue Wrench gang, everybody here. I appreciate it all. I'll be back a little later on, but y'all keep it rolling. We're going to end with a poem right now. This way we're going to end it. Everybody hold on. In 2020, the COVID-19 came. It took our spring practices along with our game. The summer was lost. The fall games were in jeopardy. The media and the doctors said the same old as yesterday. The schools were shut down. All the kids were at home on their computers and phones. The internet was loaded. It wouldn't last long. The season was nearly all gone. Greg Sankey said the SEC would play on. The Alabama fans made a rumble. Social media came out of a bad tumble. Alabama started with Mizzou. The media said the defense wouldn't do. Wait a minute. They wound up in Atlanta playing you-know-who. On to the playoffs to meet Notre Dame. The luck of the Irish stunk still the same. We were off to Miami. It was Alabama versus Ohio State for the Netty. But wait, we're going to end it like this. Christmas had came and gone. The people's New Year's resolutions were mighty clear again. I saw Coach Bryant in 18 tiny reindeer. As he flew out of sight, I heard him say, I've left you another national title. Tell all the naysayers Alabama's damn sure here to stay. All right, everybody, be good. Jimmy Clay, y'all looking good. All that money, roll it in. I'll see y'all in a few months. Bye-bye, Stephen.
Appreciate that call there from Wang, and always a great time hearing from him. We take our next call of the night. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Good evening, Stephen M. How are you, buddy?
Doing good, and yourself, man?
Man, I'm doing great. Loving the 18th National Championship. Loving what I saw from the team. Loving the Landon Dickerson moment. I don't think any of us predicted that. That was a really great way to finish it up. Everything he's meant to that squad. And I got to say, watching the game now 3 times, Waddle was so amazing in that game, stepping up in those critical moments in that second
just
quarter.
Guts.
And even as a distraction,
pure
he was
guts
amazing.
from him. Pure guts.
Pure guts, pure heart, and willed himself on the field. And into some pretty big moments in that ball game. That drive where he caught the ball and was able to continue to drive, and he went out of bounds. I mean, he came up limping. That was a big deal. It was a big play in the game. That was the time when the game was not decided. And I think for him to do all that work to get himself back, and for Dickerson to be so insistent on getting in, that just tells you what this particular team was all about. What a season, and I want to congratulate you on some really, really great coverage. Love this every week, and take care and roll tide, everybody.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call right there. Wonderful season. Looking forward to what Alabama has come down the pipeline soon for 2021. But we take our next call. You're live on the show. What's going on tonight?
Roll Tide, roll. Woo! It's your boy Senator. I'm out here.
The pimp is here, baby.
You already know, Steven. Let's just point out like 5 quick points, and I'm going to leave it alone. Number 1, greatest offense in college football history. The numbers don't lie. We did it against an all-conference schedule. We did it the whole season. Nobody could keep us below our averages the whole season. We lost one of the top 5 receivers in this upcoming draft and still was able to maintain our averages. That is all credit to the offensive line and quarterback play. Of course, the receivers and running backs did their part, but that goes to them. And the offensive play caller, Steve Sarkisian, best wishes to you. Secondly, defensive splits, the stats between each game throughout the season from Ole Miss game on forward, the defense got better. We saw it play out last game. We saw Pete Golden hold his own and stuck with the process. He stuck with the process, that the foundation that Saban set for him, and he pushed it. He pushed it to the max. He made guys rely on their film study. He made guys rely on their natural smarts and let them be athletes. And we saw that in the second half of the national championship game also. Then last but not least, Steven, that move by Saban to let Landon Dickerson come out and take the last snap, it was awesome, man. And then for Mac Jones to ask to come out so he could hand the torch over to Bryce Young, That just shows you how together this team was this season. Bryce Young was supporting that guy the whole season. Not once did I see Bryce Young pouting on the sideline because he can't get snaps or whatever. This team for the years to come is set. And you want to talk about a recruiting pitch? Saban is able to tell recruits now, hey, your son come play for Alabama. The 13, 14 years I've been at Alabama, every player that's came there and stayed at least 3 years has had an opportunity to play for a national championship. Imagine how that draft stock looks. That's all I got for tonight, Steven. Roll Tide, we back on top. Number 18, baby, Saban the GOAT. Shout out to the Blue Ridge game. Roll Tide, TDA on out.
We got Senator calling in. Appreciate that call coming from Senator. We take our next call of the night. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I had a question. Wasn't Steve Sarkisian our offensive coordinator last year too? Didn't he come in after Loxley?
He did. He came in after Loxley, correct.
Right, and Dable was before that, and Kiffin was before that. So my question is, and I'm happy for Steve Sarkisian. I'm a USC grad, so I'm familiar with that whole situation. But my question is, with last year, I mean, he's so wonderful this year and so great, and he is with his schemes and planning and strategies with the offense. But last year we didn't even make the playoffs. So I was just trying to figure out what was the pivot. Was it the team that sort of kept us out last year? They weren't as cohesive. What kept us out last year? Because we had the same offensive coordinator, and I know Golden got a lot of flack last year, more last year than he did this year. But what are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so last year, what was the issue last year? You had an injury to Tua Tagovailoa, a hip injury in 2019, and Tua meant a lot to this program. Tua meant a lot to this team. Not saying that Mac couldn't do it, because we've seen what Mac Jones has become, but just at that time in 2019, Tua meant a lot at that quarterback position, and having an injury to him, that hurt. And on top of that, defensively, you had a couple of linebackers, Dylan Moses and Joshua McMillan, that got hurt early in the season. You had a LeBron Ray on the defensive line get hurt as well. So injuries at very, very, very critical spots hurt Alabama from making that playoff in 2019.
Excellent assessment, Stephen. Excellent assessment. And what was it, the Mississippi State game, right, that Tua got hurt?
It was the Mississippi State game that Tua got hurt, correct.
Right. Excellent observations. Keep up the excellent work. Thank you.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call right there. We got another call rolling in. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Stephen M?
Doing well, and yourself?
Championship. That's how they roll with Alabama. Hey, yeah, like the Senator says, it's absolutely the greatest offense in the history of college football. At no point in this season could Alabama's offense not have scored 50 points had it been necessary. Did they score 50 points in every game this season? No. But the reason wasn't that they couldn't. The reason is they didn't want to. That's the only thing that kept them from 50 points every game they played. They didn't want to score. They get a big lead. Nick Saban would call off the dogs when it was necessary. That's because that's the kind of classy person he is. There was no point in beating everybody to death. And that's how the effectiveness of this offense. Had Mac Jones been as experienced this year as he was last year, we'd have ran the table last year. Could have had 2 years in a row with this. Tua had not gotten hurt, and Mac got the reps and the experience that he got this year. But this year he was just off the chain. And, people kind of downgrade him, Mac Jones, in the sense that they want to make it more. He's got great players around him. It's the system. It's kind of like with Brady. Mac Jones and Brady is kind of similar. People ignore how good the person is because you have a great player in a great system. So you tend to think, maybe it's just more of the system than the person. But let's keep in mind, Devontae Smith went out in the second half, didn't play the entire second half. And Ohio State scored a touchdown to get within 14. Had Mac Jones not been as effective as he was, with Ohio and Jalen Waddle, and they gone to Devontae Smith, had he not been as effective as he was, Ohio State could have found some momentum and gotten back in that game. But on the next drive at Ohio State, scored in less than a minute, and a little over a minute. He shut it down by taking Alabama down the field again. Down the field again with what he had, with the players he had left. And again, they were great. They're all great players. But that shows his leadership and his playmaking abilities. So that's just greatly underestimated by way too many of these analysts on sports radio and sports talk. And it's because you got Devontae and Mac and Najee and Billingsley and players like that surround him. They tend to think that it's the system and not him. I heard Cowherd say that if you put Mac Jones on Tulsa, if you put Joe Burrows on Tulsa, Tulsa would get better. If you put Mac Jones on Tulsa, would he make Tulsa better? And that they didn't think he would. Yes, he would, and that's the thing. He would. Mac Jones makes any team he gets on better because he is a great quarterback. And I think he can carry that to the NFL level the way Tom Brady did. So, I mean, but as far as the game goes, again, there was just, you were absolutely right about Sarkisian and his play calling. I mean, he did not sell us out. Well, not that Lane Kiffin sold us out, but the effort wasn't there with Lane Kiffin as it was with Sarkisian. But he had something to prove. The last couple of times he was in the big game, the championship game with Tua that we lost, and the game against New England with Atlanta that he lost. So he had to prove that, hey, I can coach a big game and win it, which he did. I mean, he absolutely did. But a lot of the reasons why Devontae was as open as he was, like you said, the schemes, the move, the play calling and the motions that kept getting Devontae open. Ohio State wasn't completely incompetent. They just couldn't handle Sarkisian's play calling and the motions that Devontae could put on. And again, because Devontae is just on another level. Like I said, if the guy had just been known for 2nd and 26, that's an outstanding legacy at Alabama. But now he's going to be known as the greatest, definitely the greatest wide receiver, perhaps even the greatest player, although it's going to be tough because there's a lot of great players come to Alabama. But he's definitely the greatest wide receiver, and that's even a tall order because there's been a lot of great wide receivers that's come through Alabama that's ever played the game. The guy has just transcended. It's been a transcendent player. I mean, it's just, you can't say enough about the Devontae. And it goes, Najee, of course, is a beast, and I really enjoy Najee's interviews. He's great with interviews. He got a huge personality. But all in all, they show why they're great. And Nick Saban is unquestionably the GOAT. And it was a great how he shouted out Bear Bryant when they were talking about the greatest and the GOAT. Because what he said about Bear Bryant was absolutely correct. He laid the foundation that made people want to come to Alabama in the first place, and that was the main thing.
Absolutely it was. Appreciate that call right there from my man Robert out of Mobile, showing us that love here on the show now. We're going to come back to take more calls. We're going to be back here to take more calls in a moment here. But before we take a break, got to check out this topic right here as we got our not our final grades, but our grades from the national championship game. So check it out. Stevens report, my grades from the national championship game. First and foremost, Mac Jones, an A+ from me. Mac Jones, tremendous performance, 36 completions. He tied a CFP championship game record with Deshaun Watson of Clemson with 36 completions. 464 passing yards, set a new CFP title game record. 5 touchdowns. He shares the mark with Joe Burrow of LSU. CFP title game record. Mac Jones was on fire the whole night. A+ there for Mac Jones. Najee Harris, to me, an A+ for Najee Harris. Over 100 yards from scrimmage. Now, I know Najee talked about the Ohio State defense was checking for him in the run game, but he still had 79 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, 79 yards receiving, including an incredible catch where he caught the ball one-handed, made a couple of defenders miss, and went airborne for a touchdown. Air Najee taking flight here. Najee Harris, A+ on his end. Devontae Smith, Smitty's just ridiculous. A+ for Smitty. Broke a record in the first half. Once again, 12 catches, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns. If not for a dislocated finger, would have put up even more numbers on Ohio State. So an A+ for Smitty. And then last but not least, guys, I mean, the Alabama defense, I will give this group an A-. They were locked in. They were locked in. Pete Golding had them locked in after the first hit that this defense put on Trey Sermon in the first quarter and knocked him out the game. The mood changed. The momentum changed. Things shifted. Justin Fields was running for his life. Defense held Ohio State to just 7 points in the second half, scoreless in the fourth quarter, gave up just 24 to the Buckeyes. A- there for the Alabama defense. We actually will take a call right now before we take our next break here. You're live on the show. What's going on?
To all of our fans, thank you guys so much for everything you do for Touchdown Alabama. Stephen, I want to say thank you to you and to John as well. And to everybody in the Blue Wrench gang, everybody that has done anything for Touchdown Alabama, every subscriber, we love all you guys.
Absolutely appreciating that call coming in. We definitely love everybody that has contributed to Touchdown Alabama, because this is a huge family. This is a big family, a massive family that we just love talking Crimson Tide football. We just enjoy talking your Alabama Crimson Tide. It's because of all of us, but especially you, the fans. 13,000 subscribers strong here for the Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel. We're going to take a break right now, but upon us coming back from the break, we'll get back into the phone lines to take even more of your calls. We'll be back right after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
As we're back in from the break on the hottest show on the streets, in my own words, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith. Got to give a shout out to our founder and CEO, Benny Bice III, Touchdown Alabama Magazine founder and CEO. He was on the call, on the final call before we took the break there, just showing his appreciation for everybody, showing his appreciation for the fans, showing his appreciation for the TDA staff. So definitely want to give a shout out to Benny Bice III, the founder and CEO of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, showing us the love there in that final call prior to taking the break that we took there. But as we're back in, before we jump back into the phone lines to grab even more so of your calls, we got a few super chats to get to. First and foremost, Jimmy Clay donating that $20 via the super chats. Appreciate that love there from Jimmy Clay. Also, Spencer Revley coming in with a $10 donation, helping us out. And Senator Hines, that $3 donation coming in from him. Appreciating Jimmy Clay, Spencer, and Senator for dropping that love in the TDA hat, as Wayne would usually say at this point. But we jump back to the phone lines. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in. Well, as those phone lines are getting back in, we're going to actually go to a topic right now. We'll take those phone calls in the next break here as you guys are getting yourself prepared. 205-448-1358, the number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show. But cool topic right now to get into, Mac Jones. Alabama quarterback Mac Jones. And what a season he has had, what a tenure he has had thus far at Alabama, but what a season he has had this past season here. The first 4,000-yard quarterback of the Nick Saban era, one of only 2 quarterbacks joining Tua Tagovailoa to account for at least 40 touchdowns, Mac Jones with 41. And I mentioned 2 years ago, of course, a lot of people laughed at my face here, but I mentioned 2 years ago when Mac was dominating the A-Day games, dominating the spring games. I said 2 years ago that Mac had something cooking, that Mac was planning something up, that Mac was going to bring something special. I said this 2 years ago on One Mac Jones. Everybody thought, no, he's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. He don't know Alabama football. That's just hearsay coming from Stephen M. Smith. But I told people, watch Mac Jones. He's got something cooking. Said this 2 years ago. And then throughout the summer, I was saying the exact same stuff, hearing from people that I know and trust within the program. Mac building his body right. Mac getting prepared. Mac doing what he's got to do. Mac's going to have a chance to have a Joe Burrow-like year, and I trust the sources giving me this information. And once again, even from that, no, Steven's lying. No, Steven doesn't know football. No, Steven, this is hearsay. No, Steven snorting that cocaine again. He's psychotic. He don't know what he's talking about. Beating me to death like a Mexican piñata again. But here is Mac Jones taking this team and has won a national championship with this team. Here's Mac Jones taking this team and having an incredible season with this team. Here is Mac Jones winning the National Quarterback of the Year, the Davey O'Brien Award, winning the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, being a consensus All-American, and should be a unanimous All-American, if not for the Football Writers Association of America. But that's besides the point. Should be a unanimous All-American. Mac Jones, a consensus All-American as it stands. We're talking about a guy that completed over 75% of his passes for an entire season, an FBS NCAA record. We're talking about somebody of whom had, led college football, all of college football, in passing efficiency rating, led all of college football in total QBR, quarterback rating. It is time to start really, truly having discussions about what Mac Jones has done this season. Because if this was any other quarterback that has put up the numbers that Mac has put up, we would be discussing this on Ian. We would be talking about this religiously. We would be having coffee-filled sermons about this particular quarterback or this particular person if they would have put up the same exact production that Mac Jones put up. And furthermore, let me dispel this myth right now. I am sick and tired. I am sick and dog tired of people saying, well, we can't really evaluate Mac Jones as a first-round pick because look at all the weapons he had. Look at all the receivers he had. Look at all the playmakers he had. And those playmakers carried him. We can't really evaluate. Stop diminishing what Mac Jones has done. Stop the mess. Cut the crap. Stop the mess. Stop diminishing what Mac Jones has done in terms of Alabama football and college football, what he's done this season. None of this happened when Joe Burrow had the season he had in 2019. When Joe Burrow had the greatest college football season ever. When Joe Burrow had the season he had in 2019, nobody diminished what Joe Burrow did. Nobody minimized what Joe Burrow did. Nobody second-guessed what Burrow did. Nobody made what Joe Burrow did small. And he had weapons. And he had big-time playmakers. Justin Jefferson was a 1,000-yard receiver and a freaking first-round pick. Jamar Chase was a 1,000-yard receiver, a Biletnikoff Award winner, and he'll be a first-round pick, top draft pick. Terrace Marshall caught 13 touchdown passes. Thaddeus Moss was the son of an NFL legend. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was a 1,400-yard back and was taken in the first round by the Kansas City Chiefs. Nobody diminished what Joe Burrow did. He's great, he's magnificent, he's awesome. We talked about him for weeks on end, and we let his accomplishments speak for themselves. When it was Trevor Lawrence, we let Trevor Lawrence's accomplishments speak for itself. We did not diminish. We did not minimize. We did not second guess. We did not poo-poo on Trevor Lawrence's accomplishments. Even when it comes down to a guy like Kyle Trask. If Kyle Trask would have won the national championship, we would have not have poo-pooed on what Kyle Trask did. Or if Justin Fields would have won the national championship, I don't think nobody would have poo-pooed on what Justin Fields did. But because it's Mac Jones, everybody wants to say, oh, he had weapons. Oh, he had help. The weapons carried him. Everybody in college football and major Division I college football's got weapons. It's the quarterback's job to put the ball in the hands of those weapons and get those weapons to make plays. It's the quarterback that does that. It's the quarterback's job. Yes, Devontae Smith is an incredible wide receiver. He's magnificent, and he's the greatest for a reason. But Mac Jones was the one throwing him the football. Mac Jones got John Mechie to pot big time this year. And I'll say this. I'll say this right now. Going back to the call that Robert from Mobile made, because he had a terrific call there. In the second half, when Devontae Smith was out, dislocated finger, so Smitty's now on the field. You got a hobbled Jalen Waddle that probably shouldn't have been playing, but I give him an A for toughness because he played. You have a hobbled John Mechie, of which I wasn't even told that his ankle was bothering him, but your three main receivers hobbled and or out. Your three main guys, and Mac Jones took the flag football team. He took Xavier Zigzag Williams, Slade Bolden, Javon Baker, and said, I will score on Ohio State with the flag football team. He threw a touchdown pass to Slade Bolden, Slade's first touchdown reception of his career. Xavier Williams caught 2 to 3 balls from Mac Jones. Javon Baker was on the field as well. So of Alabama's 52 points, 14 of those 52 points came with Smitty not even on the field. He was on the sideline or in the locker room or in the medical tent. It came with a hobbled Jalen Waddle. It came with a hobbled John Mechie. So what does that tell you? Mac Jones is a truck. He pulls the football team. Bucky Brooks, NFL scout, former NFL scout, NFL analyst for the NFL.com. I have great respect for Bucky Brooks because he always has this statement right here. There are 2 types of quarterbacks in the NFL. You've got trucks and you've got trainers. The trucks are those that carry the team more time than not. And with the trucks, it's we won because of you. With the trailers, those are the ones that the team carries them, and sometimes we won the game in spite of you. Mac Jones is a truck. He carried this team, he carried this group all the way to the national championship, won the national championship, and if he, Jalen Hurts, and Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones is the one that goes wire to wire, start to finish, beginning to end as the starting quarterback and wins the national championship for Alabama. Stop diminishing what Mac Jones has done. If you didn't diminish Joe Burrow, if you didn't diminish Trevor Lawrence, do not diminish Mac Jones. He's done it, and he's done it with exceeding flamboyancy and style. We take our break here on In My Own Words. Had to get it off my chest, had to do it. When we come back, we dive into more of your phone calls, your thoughts, your ideas, your conversation on Bama after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back from the break here on the hottest show on the streets. In my own words, I had to grab my handkerchief there after that powerful sermon. I tried to preach a powerful sermon, but I had to give the utmost respect there to Mac Jones. I don't know why people are trying to diminish what he has done this season for the Crimson Tide. But anyway, we're back into the number one forum for Bama football news. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we jump back into the call lines, call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, we got a few more super chats to get to. And how about Wayland? My man Wayland donating that $9.99 via the super chats. Appreciate that from Wayland. Our own Willie 351 777 coming from him. And $2 from our own Senator Hines. So we appreciate Waylon, Willie 351, and Senator for those donations helping us out here at TDA. But we take to the phone lines right now. We pick up a call. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Good evening, Stephen. It's Kevin from Dallas, Georgia. Before I start pontificating, I just wanted you to know that we appreciate all that you do and continue to do.
Appreciate the love, man. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Now, as far as the MVP, I would say that the MVP for this season should be, as far as Mr. Ballou and Mr. Ray, because this is the healthiest that the University of Alabama's been. You know. And besides that, Stephen, need to talk about the business aspect, and that is as far as coaching staff attrition. We know that Mr. Sarkisian is gone. My question is, would the other gentleman possibly be Kyle Flood? And what's your insight as far as attrition, as far as the coaching staff?
Well, right now, the other guy that could join Sarkisian at Texas is Kyle Flood. Kyle Flood is expected to join Sarkisian with the Longhorns and serve as the offensive coordinator / O-line coach. So Kyle Flood is the name right there. I know there's some rumors, there's some smoke going on about possibly Holman Wiggins leaving the staff, but as of right now, nothing has been concrete on Coach Wiggins, the wide receivers coach. If he does leave, but it would be mutual agreement between he and Coach Saban for him to leave. So right now, the one concrete is Kyle Flood is expected. He will join Steve Sarkisian for the Texas Longhorns. Holman Wiggins, there's rumors right there, but nothing concrete as of now. But we appreciate that call coming in. We take our next call of the night. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen, this is Mike from Kentucky. How you doing tonight, brother?
What's going on, Big Dog Mike? What's going on?
Hey, man, that was a mighty fine sermon, brother.
I mean,
Amen.
I tried to, man. I got to give Mac his just due because when Joe Burrow won the national championship in 2019, nobody diminished what he did. When Trevor Lawrence wins, nobody minimizes what he does. So I don't understand why you minimize what Mac Jones does, because he got the ball to his weapons just like Joe Burrow got the ball to his and Trevor Lawrence got the ball to his. So why do you sit there and put an asterisk by what Mac Jones does?
Well, they pretty much do that with all our players, Stephen. You know, it's just dudes on top of dudes and dudes backing them dudes up. And it's more stars than the Milky Way on that roster. And, you know, so people just tend to diminish accomplishment because of that. I think Mac's strongest suit is his ability to just read the defense and know where the ball's going, know where the mismatches are. And I haven't seen anybody all year do it, not even Trevor Lawrence, as far as decision making. Now, Trevor might spin it a little bit harder than Mac, but as far as decision making, Mac is a master, brother. He is a master.
And he showed it this year. And he definitely showed it this year. Absolutely.
And I tell you, you know, people want to be elite. That, you know, Georgia thinks they're coming. There's a couple of teams that think they're there. But, I mean, at the University of Alabama, the names and numbers may change from year to year, but the product remains the same, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's
it
just
does.
You got to kill us
does.
to stop us. You got to kill us to stop us, and there ain't no end in sight, brother. Roll dadgum tide. I'm going to get off and let somebody else talk.
Appreciate Mike from Kentucky calling into the show. We take our next call. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Hey, Steve. Demetrius from North Carolina. How you doing?
Demetrius from the big Carolina town. What's going on, man?
I can't kill nothing, want nothing die. I just want to give a shout out to everybody else done said what was on my mind, but just a few nuggets. I want to give a shout out to talk about this offensive line that kept Mac Jones clean, and a big shout out to Pete Golden for taking all this criticism all year long, and a shout out to Will Riker, cause I ain't heard nobody. Hey, the young man. What
he was perfect this year.
Hey, that's what we needed. You ain't hear nobody say nothing about the kicking game this year, did you? Nothing. And in my humble opinion, I'm gonna let you get more calls in after I say this. A lot of people might not look at it like this, but that field goal he kicked at the end of the first half for Georgia, it was the spark that led us to this championship.
I agree with that. I agree with that, and we appreciate that call right there. I 100% agree with Demetrius from North Carolina. If Will Riker does not make that 52-yarder against Georgia to get Bama into the half only down by 4, who knows what could have happened this season. So the Bama Nation very proud to have Riker as the kicker. But as we take our next call, we bring in the founder and CEO of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, Benny Bice III. Benny, how we feeling, man?
Man, I'm doing good, Steven. I'm gonna be quick. I know you guys got a lot of callers, man. The phone lines are jumping. I just wanted to first of all give a shout out to you, to the whole crew, man, to all the fans. I think it's I didn't do it justice last time I called in. I know it was only had a couple of seconds before you guys had to take your next break. So definitely want to give a shout out, man. I know you, me and you, Steven, we've been doing this thing for a long time. You've been with us for 12 years or so, and I just I find it fitting, at the end of the year to give a shout out to the people that make it go. Us as an independent outlet. It's different. We do something a lot different than a lot of the other guys. Being independent, I believe we got the best in this business, and you and Justin and Pat and John. I wanted to give you guys a shout out, tell you how much I love you, appreciate everything you guys do, and I also want to tell the fans the same thing. They deserve it. They do so much for our company, for our business. All the callers, everybody that's never supported us in any way, whether it's listening to your show or Justin's show or, subscribing to our YouTube channel, donating, I just want to give a shout out to all those guys, and want to tell you, as well, Steve. I know you hear from me all the time, pretty much every day, but just want to say it, in public as well, that I appreciate all the work you do. I think you're the best in the business, and I want to thank everybody for everything they've done.
We definitely appreciate that right there coming from. We definitely appreciate that right there coming from our own Benny Bice III, the founder and CEO of Touchdown Alabama magazine. And I mean, I enjoy being here. I really do. I enjoy being here. I enjoy talking Alabama football, covering Alabama football. I know at times I can get a little overexcited, but when you are passionate about something, when you enjoy something, when you feel strongly about something, there are moments where you can't help but to get a little bit overexcited, but to get a little bit overenthusiastic, because if you're not happy about something, you're not going to talk about it. If you're not enthused about something, energetic about something, then you're not going to talk about it. If that something doesn't make you tick in a way, then, why do you talk about it if it doesn't make you tick in a way, or if it doesn't make you feel some type of way about it? So I thoroughly enjoy Crimson Tide football. Just so happy to have, this fan base here to really push us and keep us going. We're going to take we got another call right here, actually. We take this call here on the show. You're live on In My Own Words. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, Steven? My name's Zay. I'm a Tuscaloosa native here in Norfolk, Virginia, serving in the Navy. And just like everyone else, I got to go ahead and give my thanks up to you for your hard work and keeping everyone up to date with the program. And I know personally, wherever this country may have me in the world, I can count on this source to get the information out to me about some good Alabama football. So thank you.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that very much.
All right. So I guess this is kind of a two-part question here. The first part is, so great review you had about Mac Jones. We can go ahead and write him off. I'm going to speak it into existence. First round draft pick, he's out of there. Now, I want to know from the practices you've seen and the development you've seen from Bryce Young, how do you feel he's developed as a player, stepping into potentially being QB1 for next year at Alabama?
Didn't get a chance to see much of Bryce due to with the COVID. The media was not allowed to be on the practice field. But in the videos that were sent out that I saw, he is getting better. He is improving. And what's going to be interesting here, if we can have a spring football season, which I hope we do, the media needs to be out here this spring to watch both Young and Paul Tyson, because we need to see with our own two eyes who is the future of Alabama football at quarterback between Bryce and Paul. I'm looking forward to this March and April getting back out there on the practice field and actually seeing this take place. But we appreciate the call, man. We got another call. We got another call here coming in. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, how are you doing? This is from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Doing well. What's going on with you?
I'm doing good. I just want to congratulate Alabama on that amazing national title win, 52-24. That was insane. However, I will give some slack to Ohio State. They were guarding the Heisman Trophy winner with a linebacker, so that was where Ohio State's brain was that whole game. But anyway, I got a little question about Mac Jones and about how he's doing. But mainly, I don't really know much about college football, but I know Mac Jones is a magnificent talent. But I'm thinking, what 5 teams in the NFL would best fit his play style and would help him win?
So what team in the NFL would fit Mac Jones? That's a good question. Which team? I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I really do. With Ben Roethlisberger possibly on his last year. I like Pittsburgh. I like the New Orleans Saints. That'd be a good move there with Drew Brees on his last year. I like the Saints. I like the Steelers. The Detroit Lions are starting to show interest. I don't know if Detroit is the best spot, but the Detroit Lions are starting to show some interest. The Indianapolis Colts already have a ready-made offensive line. I would not mind seeing Mac, with the Colts, even down to the New England Patriots, with the relationship that Nick Saban and Bill Belichick have, the Patriots. So Patriots, Colts, Steelers, Lions, Saints, any of those teams to me would work for Mac.
one more
appreciate that call
question.
right there.
Now,
Appreciate that call right there. You know, coming in talking about one Mac Jones. I mean, I can see with any of those guys in the NFL, but it'll be interesting to see which one ends up picking him, as he is regarded as a first rounder. But cool topic right here before we take our next break on the show. And the topic goes to the offensive coordinator for Alabama, who could be the new OC for the Tide, as Steve Sarkisian now takes the Texas for the Longhorns. The name is Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is expected to be the new offensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide. I was told via respectable sources today within the program that at some point this week, expect the deal to be done and finalized where O'Brien is concerned. Bill O'Brien, who has been a head coach before in college, was the head coach of the Penn State Nittany Lions 2012 through 2013. He had a huge hand in developing one Christian Hackenberg toward the NFL at the quarterback position. He's had success with the Houston Texans in the NFL as a head coach. He's also had success as an offensive assistant with the New England Patriots under Bill O'Brien, under Bill Belichick, excuse me on that one. But the thing with Bill O'Brien is it's like a lot of students that try to pattern their life after the teacher. For example, Bill O'Brien, he saw Belichick be a head coach and a de facto general manager, and so Bill O'Brien thinks, well, if Belichick can be a head coach and a GM, I can be a head coach and a GM. And it doesn't work like that. You know, do what makes you successful. Do what makes you stand out as an individual. It's the same thing with guys under the Andy Reid coaching tree. For example, Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson feels like, I came from Andy Reid, so I can be just like Andy Reid. No, be you. Be Doug Peterson. Be what makes you special. Be what you were called out to be. Don't be what Andy Reid is. And then even with, the former Nick Saban assistants, all of the former Nick Saban assistants feel like, I got to be exactly like Nick Saban. You are not going to be exactly like Coach Saban. Be who you are. Do what you do. So in this sense here, where Bill O'Brien is concerned, he has been visiting the University of Alabama campus. He visited after the Rose Bowl game, and he visited after the national championship. So he's the guy. Barring any type of craziness, Bill O'Brien is expected to be named as the new offensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide. Now, is he the name I would have picked? No. But Nick Saban, for 14 years, has earned the right to say, will you just trust me? Has 6 national championships been enough for you to trust me? Trust what I'm doing. Trust I'm going to get the right coach in here. Trust I'm going to do the right thing and keeping this process and keeping this dynasty afloat. So even though O'Brien may not be the move that I fancy or U.S. fans may fancy, if it turns out that he's named the guy and hired in as the guy, Nick Saban has earned that right from everybody, including myself, to trust what he has done in bringing in the right coach to the Alabama football program. We take our next break here on the show, but upon our return, we will dive into Pete Golding and we'll dive back into the phone lines. Got a little bit ahead of myself. We will dive back into the phone lines to take your calls here on Bama football. We'll be back to talk to you after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
Before we get back into the phone calls here, as we're back from the break on the hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Bama football news on a Wednesday, hump day, in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got to remind you guys of MyBookie.ag, native sponsor of TD Alabama. MyBookie.ag. You're feeling happy, you're feeling excited. For those of you who maybe put some money on the Alabama matchup against Ohio State and won you some money from a national championship game, get with our guys at MyBookie.ag. So make the right play and sign up today at MyBookie.ag. And when you do make the right play, when you do sign up, when you do get involved, use the promo code TDAlabama to get your deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000. In the words of my Uncle Rail, you can't beat that with a stick. So MyBookie.ag, make the right play, sign up today. When you sign up, use the promo code TDAlabama to get that deposit matched halfway up to $1,000. Check them out right now, MyBookie.ag. That's MyBookie.ag. But we go back to the phone lines right now. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. We take a call right now. You are live on the show. What's going on? Live on the show, caller. What's going on? We lost that caller there, unfortunately. But you are live on the show, caller. What's going on?
What's going on, Steven? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, good. I'm Matt. I'm calling, first-time caller from Memphis, Tennessee.
Congratulations, Matt. Welcome in here.
Yeah, appreciate it. But, I mean, I've been listening to you for a little while now, though. I love your stuff. I love the show. I love everything about this channel. But I gotta get something off of my chest. I am so sick of hearing people whining about Nick Saban's success. Instead of striving to be as great as he is, which, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much impossible, but you know, at the same time, it is possible. He did it himself. But instead of striving to be that great, I hear people all the time suggesting, you know, that they put limits on how many recruits you can get out of the top 300. And, you know, just stupid stuff. It's always, it's like, you know, they want their mediocrity rewarded instead of his hard work. You know, his hard work should be punished. Instead of rising to his level, they want to bring him down to their level. In 2013, you know, he knew the game was changing, and he didn't like facing spread offenses and all that, but he adapted. You know, he totally changed what he did. He went and got some guys. He said, okay, you want to play spread? You want to put 100 points on the board? We'll do it too, but we'll do it with better players. So now every excuse is going out the window. The only reason there is a playoff is because of Alabama's 2011 season when they got in the championship game after not winning the conference. Nobody said a word about it in 2003 when Oklahoma got hammered by Kansas State in the Big 12 championship and still got in. Nobody had a thing to say. But as soon as Alabama did it, it's a problem. Okay, now we have the playoff. Bama's still dominating. People, we need to limit how many good recruits Saban can get, and we need to expand the playoff. I'm not for expansion, but for those people who want 16 teams, I'll meet you halfway. I'll go 8. There's never been a time in history that 16 teams deserve to play for the title in one year. But I'm just sick of this. It's this attitude that we should reward mediocrity and punish Saban. I'm just sick of it. I had to get that off my chest, man. But I'll let you go. I appreciate you listening to my rant, man.
Appreciate that call coming in right there from Matt out of Memphis, Tennessee. And I understand that. I understand that people want the rewards, but they don't want the work that comes with it. People want the Lamborghini, but they don't want to pay the price to get the Lamborghini. So that's what that is. Nick Saban, he puts in the work to get the reward. He puts in the hard hours. He puts in the long nights in recruiting, the long nights in coaching, the long nights in developing, so we can see why Nick Saban's getting rewarded. Other coaches feel like, well, if I just get the kids, then I should be able to win. No, there's a developmental process. There is a scheme process. There is a strategy process. You got to put these young men in situations to where they can be successful. And because Nick Saban is able to do that at a very high level, and on top of that, delegate responsibilities to assistant coaches that he trusts to do their job, and they do perform their job, then that's why you have a lot of angry people out there that's not Nick Saban in the Alabama football program. But it is what it is. We take our next call here of the show. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Steven, this is Jimmy Clay, Roll Tide.
Jimmy, is this really Jimmy Big Bang Clay?
That is me, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing well, man. Jimmy, what's going on, man?
Man, I watched that game the other night. It was so awesome. And, oh, man, it just floored me, the way those guys went out there and just wanted to win that game. Look at Mac Jones. He hardly ever ran for a first down. But he did that night. He got hurt. But he wanted it. He wanted it, man. He wanted it. Najee Harris wanted it. Devontae Smith wanted it. Waddle, all those guys, they wanted that championship, and so did we. We were stood right behind them. And man,
that game, Jimmy, and of course, being there covering that game, the moment Alabama came out of that tunnel at Hard Rock, I knew this team was ready. The moment they came out of that tunnel at Hard Rock Stadium, I knew they were ready. And the moment they put the hit on Trey Sermon that knocked him out the game, I knew this team is ready.
Well, I hate that he got hurt. I mean, that's football. I hate anybody that got hurt. But, oh, man, it was just so great. And, hey, Mac Jones, in a lot of ways, he's better than Tua. That's just my opinion. All right?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. And, he reminds me of Jake Coker because they gave him the reins and to the team. He was a leader, a quarterback. He led them right through the season, 2015, to win the national championship. And same with Mac Jones. I'm so proud of them, so proud of Saban. And, everybody wants him to retire. Hey, man, they had him leaving 5 minutes after he got off the plane in 2007. But, hey.
They did, man. They did. But Coach Saban still here, still coaching, still winning championships, and still not done. I mean, at 69 years old, even with the hip replacement and him having to battle the coronavirus in the 2020 season, he still looks like he's got 5 to 6 more years, 10 more years possibly left in him. So we're going to be running with Coach Saban for quite some time. We appreciate the call coming from the man, Jimmy Clay. Appreciate Jimmy helping us out here on the show. We take our next call of the night. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, Stephen. How you doing? This is Clark from Georgia again.
Doing well in yourself?
Doing good. I got to be honest, I predicted 45-31 this past week, but I certainly was glad I was able to take a little bit more of a breather than that. But Alabama did an outstanding job. I mean, we really couldn't ask too much more from them. And your little rant, I guess you could say a little bit ago about Mac Jones, I think it hits the nail on the head for really just the way everybody perceives Alabama. Going forward, Alabama's shaped up for the future. They're bringing in the #1 recruiting class, and Lord have mercy. We got a bright future in Tuscaloosa, but I'm glad we were able to take some time and just really appreciate this year's team with everything they had to go through. Stephen, I'll be calling in really soon as we wrap up this #1 recruiting class, and it's going to be an exciting off season. Take care of yourself, Stephen, and roll Tide.
Will be. Appreciate that call right there coming in. Very thankful for that call right there. We take another call on the show as you guys blowing us up on a Wednesday. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Stephen M., how's it going, brother?
There is the man that predicted all of this would happen back in the summer. Spencer, what's going on?
I did miss the final score by 7 points. Sorry about that.
Well, despite that, Spencer, you said in the summer Alabama would win the national championship. They got it done, man. When the clock struck 000, how are you feeling?
Oh, I am feeling awesome, sir. This is the greatest natty that in my life that I can remember through everything that this team had to go through, the league had to go through, and I just knew it was going to happen. It had to happen, and I'm just tickled to death for it.
So which moment was better for you? Which moment was better for you? Watching Landon Dickerson carry Nick Saban onto the field, or watching Nick Saban overcome with emotion the moment he touches the trophy?
Honestly, seeing the man smile. I've never seen the man smile. He would crack a grin, and as soon as he gets in front of the camera, he's griping everybody out, everything they missed, and what we got to do better next year.
Absolutely. I mean, I have never seen Nick Saban cry like that. And it was a point in the trophy presentation where Alex Leatherwood is looking at Coach Saban going, "Don't cry, Coach, don't cry, Coach, don't cry." And then the moment the trophy hit Saban's hand, the emotions hit him. Boom, like, I just surpassed Bear Bryant. The emotion hit him. It was just a really special moment because it shows you how much Coach loves this team. But we appreciate that call there coming in from our own Spencer Revley, who was right when he said this season Bama will win a national championship. We take our next call. You are live on the show. What's going on?
How we doing, buddy? Hey, great
going
show,
well
man.
And yourself?
All right, calling all the way from Fayetteville, North Carolina, by way of Mobile, Alabama. Hey, I'm trying to be a great season for Devontae Smith. So happy for that, brother. But what wide receiver do you see coming up, taking that spot besides John Mechie next year?
I think Javon Baker. I think Javon Baker will get his moment next season. I know Slade Bolden caught his first touchdown pass in his career in the title game, but I think Javon Baker, the young man from Georgia, at 6'1", a little bit over 200 pounds now. Watch Baker, who came out of McEachern High School in this 2020 class. Baker will be the one next year, but appreciate that call right there. Keep your eyes on Javon Baker. We go to break right now. Upon getting back from the break, we will finally get into talking about one Pete Golding and this Alabama defense and the job it did in the national championship. We'll talk Bama defense after this.
Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full-year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back in from the break on In My Own Words, number one forum for Bama football news. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. And before we get into our final topic of conversation, got a couple of things to update you on. First and foremost, the print edition of Touchdown Alabama Magazine is coming soon. Print edition for TDA Magazine is coming soon. Now, you can get a free copy of the magazine if you go to the site right now, touchdownalabama.com, subscribe, become a member. You subscribe, touchdownalabama.com, become a member. You get a free copy of the coming soon, fresh, latest, new print magazine. So go to touchdownalabama.com, subscribe, become a member so that you can get a free copy of the print magazine that's coming soon. That's via TDA Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Also, got to remind you guys of TDAwear.com. Also, TDAwear.com. Make it your plug, your one-stop shop for all Alabama football purchasing, clothing, apparel needs. If you fancy the I Love Hearing Touchdown Alabama shirts, the We Want Football shirts, Let Them Play shirts, hoodies of all shapes, sizes, colors, forms, we got you right here. TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. Show that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, for student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But final topic of conversation, how about Pete Golding and the Alabama defense? Now, is Pete Golding the long-term answer for Alabama football? Probably not. He's probably not the long-term answer. But for right now, for where we stand right now, can we just give a little love? Can we just give a little respect to one Pete Golding, because this Bama defense played against Ohio State. The group played. Yes, they gave up a couple of big plays. Yes, they gave up a couple of chunk yardage plays, but in the second half, shut Ohio State down. Only gave up 7 points, and if not for a Mac Jones fumble, probably don't even give up that. They shut Ohio State off the scoreboard in the fourth quarter, held the Buckeyes to just 24 points through the entire game. And let me say this right here. So check this out right now. Brent Venables is supposed to be the Zen master of defense in college football. Brent Venables of Clemson is supposed to be one of the best, if not the best, defensive coordinator in college football. In the minds of most people, Brent Venables is universally recognized as the guy that he can shut down any type of offense. It doesn't matter if it's high-powered, mid-grade, low-power, doesn't matter. He'll make adjustments. He'll make changes. He'll get the scheme right. He will shut down every single offense. It don't even come close. It don't even compare to Brent Venables. There were even some Alabama fans going, can we get him? Why is he still at Clemson? What does Dabo Swinney have on him? We got the money over here at Bama. Can't we throw Venables some money and get him over here to coach the Crimson Tide? It was at one point, nothing comes over Venables. And Brent Venables got curb stomped by Ohio State. Justin Fields had the game of his life against Venables. 385 passing yards, 6 touchdowns. Trey Sermon pounded the Venables defense of Clemson. Chris Olave went off against Clemson's defense. And this is supposed to be, like I said, the Zen master. And when Venables gave up near 50 points against Ohio State, here come everybody going, well, if Venables can't beat Ohio State, and he the best of the best, he the best that is. If Venables can't beat Ohio State, Pete Golding don't have a snowball's chance. Pete Golding don't have a shot to beat Ohio State. If Venables can't do it, Pete gonna give up 70 points. You saw Pete gave up 48 to Ole Miss. You saw Pete gave up 46 to Florida. Oh, Lord, we in trouble. We going down. If Venables can't beat the Buckeyes, what make you think Pete Golden can do it? What in your mind make you think Pete Golden can do it? And little Peter Golden sat there and held the Buckeyes to 24 points. Pete Golding, the one folks said couldn't do it. The one folks said wouldn't have a snowball's chance. The one folks said getting rid of him, he no good. Pete Golding held the Buckeyes, held Justin Fields, Chris Olave, Ryan Day, the best offensive mind, or one of the best offensive-minded head coaches in college football. Pete Golding held this group to 24 points. I mean, he may not be the long-term answer for Alabama football. He may not be the final hope for Alabama football, but for just right now, for just this moment, for just in this present situation, can we just give a little bit of love? Can we just give a little bit of a thank you to Pete Golding because he coached that Alabama defense on Monday night, especially in the second half of this matchup. I mean, how about the job by Christian Barmore? How about the job by Barmore? And I said last week on Friday to end last week's edition of shows that Christian Barmore would be the impactful player on the Alabama defense. I said Ohio State would have its hands full. It would not be able to neutralize Barmore. It wouldn't be able to block him. It wouldn't be able to hold him. Barmore was going to affect Justin Fields, and by God, he did it. 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, had a sack of Justin Fields to where when he hit Fields that one time, Justin was like, I want no more of that smoke. I want no more of what 58 is cooking. Barmore was in the backfield all game long. He had a huge tackle of Master Teague on 4th down, turnover on downs, gave Bama back the football. Christian Barmore helped Alabama get off the field 8 times on 3rd down, had 2 big stops there on 4th down, and was the defensive MVP, and the brother deserved it. Deserved to be the defensive MVP. Christian Barmore was an absolute handful, and he has played his way into being a first-round pick. Me personally, I got him going at number 25 overall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have a strong young defense, but they're in need of some pass rushers, some edge rushers. So I got Barmore at number 25 overall in the first round to the Buccaneers. Now, if a team decides to trade up in the first round to get him, I could see it happening. But right now, he has played his way to the number 25 overall pick, in my opinion, to those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, you want the best in news, notes, information coverage here on your Crimson Tide. You get it by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app for the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. If you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here. iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Friday, continuing the conversation, the talk that is Crimson Tide football. Remember, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. Also, the link to WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com will be in the description as well. WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Copy that 4-finger bling necklace today. Gotta give a final shout out to the man, Jimmy the Money Man Clay. Jimmy Clay dropping in another $20 donation, helping us out here at TDA. But as always, husbands, love your wives. Wives, appreciate, value those husbands. Children, continue doing those things legitimately now to not be bored. Get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you, and until next time, folks, I am your man, Stephen M. Smith, and this has been In My Own Words.